So we're going to look into Google App Engine task queues to start by sending an email in response to modifying a database. We're going to build on the runner database model that we developed in the last module. So to refresh your memory, we have a model that has a activity including distance, duration, date, that's associated with a runner ID. And the runner ID is associated with this runner, and the runner contains the name and email. We have some request handlers for adding runners and adding activities, and I haven't changed that code, so I'll collapse that so it doesn't get in the way. And then we have a main handler that prints to the web page basically a dump of the database. So what I'd like to be able to do is to say, well, if we are building this for real, I'd like to know when somebody adds an activity to my account, right? To my name. I mean, if it's me, then I know about it. But if it's not me, then I'd like to know. So what I'd like to be able to do is to modify the activity handler so that when anyone adds an activity, it'll automatically email me with all of the activities to date. Kind of a summary. This is sort of analogous to any kind of web service where you would send a user an email every now and then. So the way we're going to structure this is we will start by building a new handler. I'll call this mail summary handler, because it's going to mail a summary of the activities. And what we will do is just write this not with a task queue to start, but initially just as an activity that would be appropriate to run in the task queue. And then once we get this all set up, then we'll figure out how to do the task queue. It turns out writing and sending emails on Google App Engine is pretty straightforward. It's built in. We have to import a package. Then you simply make an instance of a mail message, set up some fields, and press send. So we're going to go ahead and write this code. We'll start by importing the mail package, which is in Google App Engine API. And then we'll go ahead and implement this mail summary handler. Now, we're going to first have to do some database work to extract the information that we want and from the database about the current activities and put it in a reasonable form for sending. We can actually generate HTML and send HTML, and that's going to be very similar to what we did previously with the main handler. But instead of sending it for all runners, we want to only send the information for one runner. And then we'll set up the mail message. I'm going to start by writing the code for doing this database extraction, and since this is similar to what we've done before, I'll go ahead and do it now. So the first difference in the mail summary handler is that we don't want to process all the runners. We just want to mail the information about a single runner. So like we did when we were adding the activities, we need to have the user specify a runner ID. Then we want to extract from the database the particular runner with that ID. So we're going to get the runner ID URL parameter with the get function like we've done before. And only if the user has actually given one will we then go on. So I have an if statement. And then this is new. Rather than calling the all method to get all of the records in of a particular kind, we're going to call the get by ID method, where you can pass in an ID and it will just give you that specific instance of the runner that matches that ID. Okay, so that's nice. Now for debugging, I just put this out over here. I just printed out with the runners that we found. So what we'll do is just test this. Oh, sorry, and I've also loaded this into Google App Engine Launcher, and it's running locally, my local SDK. So we can go and use the main handler. I've entered some data. I have 2 different bins, one with each of my email addresses, because that will be useful, and put in some different activities. Now let's see if we can extract just this Ben's activity. So I'm going to copy this ID, go to localhost 8080, and let's look at mail summary. Sorry for that. / mail summary question mark runner ID equals. Okay, I've already done this. Execute this, and this is going to give me this particular version of me. Right, that's that particular runner. Let's put in this one instead, this other ID, and make sure we get the other response. Put in that, enter, and sure enough, we got the UMD version. Okay, so we have got the basics of this running. To make this work, by the way, I also had to add another URL. I added a mail summary to connect to this class, which is why that worked. So now let's go ahead and do something similar to extract out the activities. So for this runner, we'll get its activities, and we can do something very similar to what we've done before. So I will copy this bit of code, and then we'll change this. Instead of writing directly to the web, what we really want to be doing is generating some HTML that we can put into the body of a message. So I will build up a string that contains that HTML instead. So I'll go ahead and modify this.